Well, welcome back to the Church Tech 101 podcast. Episode 12 is called Here Today, Gone Tomorrow. Well, as I help churches all around the country and also ministries, I run into the portable church. And this also goes for some traveling ministries where they are setting up all their equipment and tearing down all their equipment every week, and depending where they are. And so I thought I'd talk about a couple of gear-related things that will hopefully be helpful or maybe spark some ideas. And then I thought I would talk about just some sort of philosophical things at the end that will hopefully help you make wise choices. If you're just getting started with the church plant or something that is temporary, where you're in a rental space, hopefully this will get you going in the right direction. So for audio, I really do like a tablet-based mixer, and there are a lot of different ones. I personally have owned a Soundcraft one. Behringer makes an X-Air series. Allen and Heath has a new series. I think it's called CQ. And so there are a lot of different mixers that are a rack mount type mixer. And that's really great because you control it with a tablet, but it can just sit in the front of the rental space. And that's really good because you're trying to plug everything in up there. And that will be very helpful for you because then you're not having to run long cables or do an analog snake where you have the big thick cable running to the front to back, or even a digital snake where some people are using a digital snake and a control surface. I'm really a fan of the tablet-based mixer. And if you're a bigger ministry, then maybe a digital stage box. And then you can just run a Cat 6 and then plug in your control surface in the back somewhere. But again, I think it's a great option for a lot of churches. Now, for speakers, I really like the sub and column type speaker. And so I know some ministries that really like the Bose system, and they're using that. I've done churches where they did a turbo sound IP series speaker. A lot of companies have jumped on that bandwagon, and most of them are pretty good. So look around and see what you want to do as far as that goes, because they are really easy to set up because the big heavy part always stays down low. So you're not lifting a big heavy speaker up and trying to put it on a stand on Sunday. You just set the sub on the bottom and then you plug in the lightweight columns in the top. And they do a really good job of covering a really wide area. A couple of ministries and churches I know only use one speaker for this reason because it just covers so well. Even a wide space, they don't have to worry so much about adding additional speakers, and one speaker will work well. Wireless mics, I can kind of go both ways on this. Honestly, in pretty much any situation, I'd rather see a good quality wired mic, but I understand the appeal visually and everything else of wireless. And so my suggestion is wire the things that you can. If you're plugging in a piano or whatever electronic instrument, it's good to cable that, and hopefully it's up front. And then if you want to go wireless, I think pastors should be wireless. That's a big plus for most pastors because they do tend to look about, and so I'm a big fan of head mics. So there you go. And if budget is a concern, a good wired mic is definitely less expensive and will sound just as good, if not better, than its wireless counterpart. I do like a rolling rack case for all the audio equipment. And they make some good ones that aren't too expensive, but they're pretty heavy duty. You mount your mixer up in the top and then a power strip, to protect it. And then you can do even the drawers that go into these rolling rack boxes, and you could put some foam in there, store your mics or whatever in there. That's great. I like to put all of that, much of that stuff as I can, in one big case, and then it's easier to roll away, and it's just all the audiovisual cables and smaller parts, so that they all are in one place, and so that's good for organization, I think. When it comes to video, I want to talk first about showing slides or lyrics or video. You might be able to use an existing video system. I know a lot of portable ministries, they will use whatever the auditorium video system is. And in that case, I really recommend that you have a lot of adapters or whatever you think you will need to hook up to legacy systems or newer tech, just to make sure that your video will work. If you don't have access to that, I still think projector and a screen is probably your best bang for the buck option. And also, it breaks down pretty small. I wouldn't try to move screens around like the big TV screens or whatever. They do tend to be pretty fragile. More than once, I've had them broken just in the transportation of them from the factory or whatever to my job site. We've ended up with a broken screen and then had to go through the hassle of that. So they're not really meant to be portable. And so a projector is a good option. And make sure you get a good solid case for it. That will help protect it and keep it safe. And then I like laser, if you can go to laser, and as many lumens as you can buy are going to be a plus for that, especially if your rental space has high ambient light. If you buy something with low lumens, 3,500 or something, it's just not going to be bright enough in a bright space. So I would at least 5,000 or more if you can swing it. It's going to look a lot better. And honestly, you don't need to go 4K. You can go 1080 and you'll probably be in pretty good shape. For most people, they had to be pretty close to the display to notice a difference between 4K and 1080. And so if the price difference is a plus for you, then you can definitely swing toward the 1080 side of projectors. Streaming systems. This can be as simple as an iPhone. Make sure you put it on a nice tripod so it's steady and doesn't bounce around. It could be a Mevo camera. I really like those for portable applications because you can do more than one. They're Wi-Fi, they're battery powered, and you can switch them using an app and stream that way. And the Mevo Start has an audio input, so you can get audio from your mixer board and get it into one of the cameras, which is great. I think that brings your stream up to a different level when you have good audio. And so that is a great option. There are other options out there, depending on how large you are, but you're going to end up running power and video cables, or at least Ethernet to each one of those locations for each camera. And so it's just more cables to run, more things to tape down so people don't trip over them. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at a streaming system. Now, to kind of wrap up, I want to talk about a couple things. One is environment. Now, a lot of churches are putting all their equipment into, boxes or bins or whatever, and then put it in a trailer. And then that trailer gets parked somewhere. And especially during the summer, that can get really hot. And heat is the enemy of all things electronic. And so that's important. It will kill stuff more quickly, or things are just going to fail. I would look, like, if you have a trailer, where is a shady place or that I can park it, or an enclosed space that will be cooler, where it's not out in the sun. I think that's important. So just something to consider. Now, if your rental space will let you rent some storage during the week, just a closet or something, I would definitely use that for all my audio video stuff to make sure that it is not in a hot environment, but it's in a nice, cool environment, especially during the summer. Let me talk a little bit about quality. And because portable churches are always setting up and tearing down, The better quality that you buy, the more durable it will be. It'll take that wear and tear and damage. And let's be honest, things are going to get dropped or bumped or who knows what. And so your system will take wear and tear a lot more than if it was an installed system and just gets to sit, on in a sound booth somewhere for its entire life. And so the wear and tear on equipment means that quality is worth it. You're not replacing it every 2 years or something. Now you can look at and hey, we're only going to be portable for I don't know, 18 months or something. If your plan is that good, then you might be able to get away with some cheaper equipment. But some of you don't know how long it'll be portable. And and the other thing is, if you buy a quality equipment, then it is easily integrated into your new facility. Not all of it, but at least good parts of it are easy to bring with you, especially wireless mics and that kind of thing. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about equipment. Two things that are I want to talk about. One is keep it simple. So don't add complexity to your system. Look at it now and go, okay, that would be nice. Do we really need that? And do I really want the headache of setting up that additional thing every single week? The longer you do it, the more you're going to probably question, like, why did I do this? Why have I done this to myself? And so think about that. And then the other thing is sort of to the same thing, which is don't change the system up all the time. Keep it consistent. And that makes it easier for volunteers to set up if they know how it's going to be. But if we're always tinkering, changing, updating, whatever, try to do it all at one time if you can, so that there aren't constant changes. And that'll help volunteers know what to do every week without having to constantly pester you. How does this go again? How does this work again? And so for some portable applications, the setup teardown every week is a timed event almost, because you're renting the space hourly or whatever. And so just things to consider. Anyway, those are kind of my thoughts on portable systems or systems for traveling ministries. I hope that they've been helpful, or that I've inspired some thought or given you a direction on something. And once again, thank you for joining me, and I hope I will see you again on the next episode.